Hi. You know, it's no secret that I really enjoy making my own designs on the Baby Lock Altair in IQ Designer, and sometimes I'm inspired by a really cool product. This is Kraft-Tex, and I was inspired to make a fun project. This is a triple glass case, so we can make this at the same time. We can explore the potential of this amazing machine. I'm Cathy, and this is Sewing Tech Talk. So of course we have a giveaway for this week's video. It's a great pack of embroidery thread. Every time you like, share, or comment, you're entered for a chance to win. And subscribe while you're there, because there's lots of fun stuff coming. So when Michele from More Sewing with Michele showed me this amazing Kraft-Tex. Now Kraft-Tex is a cross between paper and fabric. So it's a paper-like feel, but it sews like fabric, so it's really fun. And it inspired me to do some new, I need some new purse accessories, because it's a real fun fabric and it works for that. So I'm going to use the Kraft-Tex to make a triple glass case. And so what we're going to do is, I love to create my own designs in IQ Designer in the Altair because it's just fun for me to do. And so I have a prototype or two. This is a glasses case I made quite a while ago, and it holds 3 pair. One here, and one here. You know, regular glasses, reading glasses, and of course you need your sunglasses in there. So 3 pair of glasses. So I thought, well, let's make that in embroidery. So here's my super prototype, and you can see, I think it's kind of fun, but I get to create a linear design in IQ Designer. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about creating this linear design, which is something, it doesn't have to be this, it's something that you can do in whatever. Of course, I have a handout for you because I'm going to be covering a lot of different stuff. I have a handout that goes through step by step for creating the triple eyeglass case, but in the process you can learn how to create a linear design in IQ Designer. Don't want to do that? Well, just follow the parts for creating the design and you can create any kind of design that you want. I even give you the image of the glasses if you want to use that. So let me talk just really briefly about how you create a linear design in IQ Designer, and then we'll wrap around the project where we're doing the triple glass case. So IQ Designer is the part of the Altair. Altair has sewing, embroidery, and IQ Designer where you can create your design. So in IQ Designer, I'm going to create the linear design for those eyeglasses. And what you do is you use a mobile device on the Baby Lock Altair. Now there's other machines that have IQ Designer. They may use a scanning frame. They may use a slightly different process to get it in there, but it's basically the same. You're going to get the design, the linear design, into IQ Designer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my IQ positioning app, which is how I do it for the Baby Lock Altair, and I'm using it on my iPad. You could use your phone. Just about any kind of mobile device will do. The app is for free, and you download it, and when you do, you get the app opens up, and you can either send a design to embroidery, and you would use that to position a design. We're going to be doing that as well. But if you want to send a design to, if you want to send a design to IQ Designer, you either have the choice of taking a photo of it with the mobile device, or you can have an image already on your phone, iPad, whatever, that you've already taken an image before. This is so much fun. There's going to be another video for doing all kinds of fun stuff with that as well. So what I do is I can use my photo frame to take a picture of it. So you would use the handout, print out those glasses, take a picture of it, send it to IQ Designer. Or if it's a file you've already downloaded into your device, like I already have, what you could do is bring that in. So what I would do is I would select the image for creating the design, go to all my different photos, find the glasses, and then I would send those off to the machine. Pretty easy, right? So that means you don't even have to print it or anything. You can just take the picture of it. So that was already sent off to the machine. And let me show you just briefly how I would change that into a design. So on IQ Designer, what I want to do, I'll clear off my square that I have on there. I have 3 different areas where I can bring in an image. This one up here in the left, just the little fern as it were, just brings in the image. So if I want to use it as a backdrop, or I want to use an image to trace, we'll do that in another video, I promise. An illustration design is a design that already has colors. This one does not. It's just linear. So I'm going to bring in a line design. So when I touch line design, I can tell the machine where this image came from. It came wirelessly from my design, from my from my mobile device. They come in order. So the most recent one is a picture, and there's my glasses right there. Pretty good so far, right? When I hit set, what it does is it brings up the image, and I could crop away anything that I don't want. So if I've taken a picture and got a little bit of the background in there, I'll just take that out. If I don't like the way that looks, I can change and I can have it kind of play with the design just a little bit. This looks absolutely perfect. So I'm just going to hit OK. And what it does is it shows me how it creates that line. And so there's my glasses. All I have to do is hit set, and it's going to send it off to IQ Designer. Now this is basically an embroidery. I just have to tell the machine what kind of stitching I want around the outside edge. It's a line, so I want to tell the machine I just want maybe a triple line to go around there. So I come into the line properties, I choose what I want, maybe I want that one, and I usually pick a color so that I can tell that I've changed all the parts of the design. Let's make them some really sexy red glasses. So I'm going to hit OK. Now I touch the bucket and I touch all the different parts of the glasses, and when they turn red, because I know I've changed the color, then basically it's turned that outline into a triple stitch. Wasn't that easy? Now, just because this is a line, I don't have to stick with that. I can color in the parts of it if I want to. So I can come down here. I can choose maybe a fill stitch. Let's make our glasses maybe just a, I don't know, pink. Maybe they're Barbie glasses, just saying. Okay, I touch the bucket again, and I touch the different parts of the glasses. Now they're kind of hard to touch, those little parts. So let's blow it up so we can see it, and boom. Isn't that fun? I can make them any color that I want. I can even make them into an applique, but that's even another video. So when I hit next, I tell the machine all the different parts I want, what kind of fill I want, how big the stitches are, all that kind of crazy stuff. When I hit preview, it's going to show me what it did. So there is my embroidery design. Pretty fast and easy, right? So I don't want to settle for that. Let's do something and let's create an in the hoop design that is a triple eyeglass case. Now, we're going to go through a lot of information. I might go a little bit fast. So basically, everything is listed in your handout, step by step with lots of photos. So if you want to follow this and do this kind of project, absolutely download the handout, print it out, and you can follow step by step. So let's create the first part, the outer pocket of my triple eyeglass case. Are you ready? So what we need to do is we need to go to IQ Designer. Now, I've designed this to be an 8 by 8, which means it ends up to be about 4 by 8 when it's finished. You can modify the size if you want to, if your glasses are slightly different. But I'm going to start out with a basic shape that's built into IQ Designer. I'm going to come on in and I'm going to pull up a square, because that's the basic outline of what I'm going to do. Now, I want to create this part right here, which is this line coming on down. Now I could draw one, but I could use multiple shapes to actually help me get the perfect design. So let me show you how that works. I'm going to take that square, I'm going to change the size of it, and I'm going to blow it up to be 8 by 8. And you can see the size of the square right up in there. So let's do that. So now that square is going to be 8 by 8. Okay, now I want this part here. Let's see if we can use another shape to modify this one. I bet there is. So I can go to shapes, and do you see this icon right here? That little angle right here works perfectly for that. So I'm going to touch that and say okay. Now it's going to put the shape within the shape. All I have to do is make this shape the same size and erase the parts that don't work for me. So what I want to do is I want to expand this so it touches that outside edge. And quite frankly, to save a little bit of time, I've already gotten started with that. So let's clear this and let's pull that design, that artwork that I've already started. So there's the artwork that I've already started. And what you do is you bring in whatever you need, and I erase the parts that don't work for me. So you can see that square was in a square, and all I do is touch my eraser. I can come on in, choose the size of my eraser, and when I touch, I'm erasing the parts that I don't want. To get in really, really close, you can blow it up as much as 800% and see exactly where you're taking that line off. So even if you have a vision issue, it's easy to make it done. So I come on in, I take away the parts that I don't want, and I end up with a kind of a unique shape that I've created myself from shapes that are built into the machine. So as you can guess, I've already done that, and let me show you what that looks like. All clear. Okay, let's bring in something that I've already started. There it is right now. Now, when you create this, you might want to save this piece of artwork like I did, because you can create all kinds of fun, different eyeglass cases. They make great gifts, and you might want to do a different image in each. So this is kind of like your cookie cutter shape to fill. So now, let's bring in those glasses just like we did before. So it was a line design, right? So I touched line design. It came in wirelessly. It was that very first image. Set. I can go fast now because you've already seen it. That looks good. Okay. That's what it's going to look like. Perfect. Set. And there it is right inside of my other shape that I've already created. Pretty easy, right? Now I want to move it, and I can take my finger and move it down there. But if I come into my size key, I can literally move it down and move it over, and I can change the size of it just a little bit if I want to. Now, why are there two sets of glasses? Well, that first ghost image is where I brought in that image. And IQ Designer says, you might want to see this. I really don't, because it's already done a good job of creating my design. So I can take that image away. And, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to take that image away. Let's take these glasses and move them up where I want. Good to go. Now, I want something kind of fun in the background. No problem. I have all kinds of different fill stitches to go in the back. So I'm going to go into here, my region properties menu, pick a really pretty one. I think I settled on the diamonds. Select. There's the diamonds now. Okay. We can make them a pretty color if we want. Okay. I touch the bucket and I put that in the background of my glasses. Now I want to make sure all the different linear designs of this are the same or exactly what I want it to be. I want my glasses to be that triple stitch. You've seen it before. All I do is I come in. I want that triple stitch. Oh, I choose a color to make sure I did it. Okay. I'm going to touch the different parts of my glasses. And if I can't see them, I blow it up. And if I make a mistake, I have undo, undo, undo so that I can do that. So all the different settings that I chose are in your handout. So don't worry about it. Just go through the handout and go through step by step, and you're on your way to doing a great little outside of your eyeglass case. Now, I want to show you basically one thing that I do to make sure when I put my Kraft-Tex piece into the hoop that I have everything set. It's right back to that IQ positioning app. So what I do is I bring up my app, I lay my piece of Kraft-Tex in the hoop, and it's 8.5 by 11, so I want to make sure I can position this design right over the top of it. So what I do is I bring up my app and I take a picture of what's in the hoop so that I know exactly where it is. So let's go to that app again, and let's go to photo frame for easy positioning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch this, take my hoop, take a picture of it, and it's going to send that off to my machine so that I know exactly where it is and I can position it exactly to get my good stitch out. Also in the handout, I talked to you about doing a basting stitch around this design because I used some spray adhesive to hold it in there on some medium tearaway, but you may want to do a baste. I know I like the extra security. So I talk in the handout about how you would do that. It's a feature on the machine where you just click basting and it goes around the whole design and holds everything down. It's perfect for items that are too small to hoop or are difficult to hoop. So what I'm going to do is I've already created my design. I'm going to pull it up. We're going to get to stitching. And when we come back, what I want to show you is how I do the inner case, which is made on fabric. We'll go back to IQ Designer for some other fun stuff. And let me get stitching this and I'll be right back. So we're just finishing up. Now this part, ta-da, is the outer pocket. It's this part of the eyeglass case. Now to make the inside, it's really pretty simple. We only have a couple more things to do with this outside pocket. So what I do is I just take it off from the stabilizer, and I left the stabilizer in my project. Now I talk in the handout about if you wanted to do a lining on the back of it, all you would do would be just slip a piece of felt onto the back. Talks about that in the handout. I find that this works pretty good. You're just going to trim around this outside edge, and that part is just waiting for the inside to be done. So how do we do the inside? Well, the inside basically is another thing I do in IQ Designer. What I do is I have two pieces of fabric. They're 10-inch squares, and I do the piece of fusible batting on the inside just to give it a little bit of body. Now all this is a square, and what you're going to do is you're going to stitch in this piece of batting. I made it smaller than the outside square so that batting is not in the seam line, and it makes a really elegant finish. So basically, let me show you how I create this. We'll stitch it out, and then we'll have an eyeglass case when we do the final joining. So basically, how do you do this? Well, like I said, it's another IQ Designer project. So let's go to IQ Designer. And all this really is a square, but there's two squares. What I've done is I've made the inside with that batting a little bit smaller. So instead of an 8-inch square, I do a 7.5-inch square. In IQ Designer, basically, you've seen it before. I just bring up a square. There you go. Okay, let's change the size. Let's change it to 7.5 inches or thereabouts. Now, when I take this through to embroidery, I'm going to change the stitch length. Oh, I forgot. It came in as a zigzag. No problem. All I do is touch this. I touch the straight double stitch that I want. And okay, I tell the machine how long I want it. So if you forget to do something, it's so easy to go back and forth in IQ Designer to create exactly what you want. You just got to watch and make sure. So this is called the run pitch or the stitch length. And I'm going to make this pretty long because I'm just stitching down the batting. This setting is in your handout. When I hit set and I hit preview and I go okay, there's my square that's going to stitch down my batting. Let's just send this into embroidery. Set. Okay. Now, I want to have it place the square on the stabilizer. Then I lay the batting on top. All I have to do is duplicate it. So I come in, edit, duplicate, move that square to the center, and I can even change the color of it if I want, but no need. So it's going to stitch down the outline on the stabilizer. I lay my batting down, I stitch it again, I cut away the batting from the edge. So far, so good. Now, what I need to add is some great fill stitching to go on the top of it. Add. IQ Designer. I want that square. I've already saved my 8-inch square. There's my 8-inch square. Set. Now I want to put a cool fill pattern on the inside of this. You remember where they are, in the region settings. So I come here. This time I did something that looked like a trellis. Oops. You got to pick one. That one. Okay. And any color's fine. I touch the bucket and I put it inside my square. Now when we did the other diamond in the back, Kraft-Tex doesn't like to be really densely stitched in the same spot. Remember, it's a paper and fabric product. So any kind of fill is fine, and it has some rigidity by itself because it's a paper fabric product. But here's the cool trick. If I take this background fill and I make it pretty dense, remember I'm just going through fabric, then if I make this fairly small, it's going to add some rigidity to the project. That's something neat if you're going to do anything that's three-dimensional in IQ Designer. So, but let's make sure this outside line is a double run stitch. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to touch that. I'm going to make it a funny color. Okay. Bucket. Now that outside edge is exactly what I want it to be. Next, I'm going to change the size of this fill. I want it a little bit smaller. Come here, make it a little bit smaller. And I don't want it to stitch around the outside. Boom. Set. Now there's another handout I have that's available for you. If all these parts and pieces of IQ Designer seems a little confusing, there's a quick reference guide to IQ Designer in one of my handouts, and all my other handouts are there too. So you can go and it'll take you through all the different buttons. So if it seems confusing, not to worry, I have a guide to the goods out there as a handout for you. Now let's see what this looks like. I think that works perfectly. It's going to give me the density that I want to make that inside pocket great. And I have that final stitching line. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use that to stitch around here so I turn it right side out. I don't have to get out the sewing machine till I do this outside edge. So let's set that off to join what I've already done, which is that outline for the batting. I take my one piece of fabric, I lay it on the top, because I've already stitched down the batting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch this fill stitch all around and go through the top layer of the fabric in the batting. My second piece of fabric, well, that's going to be at the very end, and that final outline is going to stitch it down to create my In the Hoop project. Pretty sweet, huh? Don't forget, all the instructions are in your handout, so don't worry if I'm going kind of quick. So I need to stitch this. And then when it's done, let's go to embroidery. Let's see how long it's going to be. It's going to be about 22 minutes. So I'm going to do some stitching, and then when I come back, we're going to put this eyeglass case all together. And I think you agree, it's a pretty fun project. So let me get to stitching, and I'll be right back. So that part is finished. I've done all the fill. Now the last little bit is going to be that outside edge coming around, and that's just that double stitch. So what I'm going to do is lay this other piece of fabric on top. And I think we have a special visitor. The director come to make sure everything's going okay. How you doing, director? So what I'm going to do is that final stitching around the outside edge. And the machine says it's going to take a minute, but I think I can even make it go faster. So let's get that started. Make sure we have tails out of the way. Let's make it go fast. Well, as you can see, I had a special visitor and I'm running out of bobbin. But let me just tell you how to finish this on up. So let me cut this and we'll give you a visual. Now remember, it's in your handout, but all we got to do is once it finishes this outside edge, I'll take it out so that you can see it. What's going to happen, it's going to create a little pocket. And I take it out of the hoop, I trim around the outside edge, and I cut a little slit right around in here, only on the part that's not quilted. That's the slit to turn it right side out. And the batting doesn't come to the edge, it's going to form a really nice edge. Once you get that done, basically all you're going to do is take that part and lay your outer pocket on the top of it. You're going to stitch a little bit on the top, fold it up like a hot dog, stitch right through here, and voila, you have a great little project. So if you haven't paid attention, Michele sewing, more sewing with Michele, she's playing with the Kraft-Tex.
Wait a minute! Hold up! If you haven't seen Kraft-Tex on More Sewing with Michele this week, let me give you a little preview so you know what you need to check out. So what I focused on was the Kraft-Tex and weaving with it, with fabric. So I made some zip bags, I have samples, and I also showed one. You can see that this one, it's really finely woven. And then I have this sample bag, which the weave is at an angle. I also go over in the videos how to do my finished zippers, where I have edges, and on the inside, you can see that I have fabric, as well as the finished edge on the inside. And then I have one other sample that I made. This one was actually in the video, and you can see once again, we've got a zipper, we have the fabric on the inside, and it's the fabric weaving. You're going to want to check it out. And Cathy, you need to tell that director he needs to watch his tail. I look forward to seeing you on More Sewing with Michele. Back to Cathy and her wonderful episode on Kraft-Tex with Sewing Tech Talk with Cathy.
You can paint on it, you can sew it, it's paper, it's fabric, who knows what it is. So go check out More Sewing with Michele, and she's doing a really great project if you haven't already seen it. I hope you enjoyed playing with making a project. Hope you enjoyed visiting with the director at the very end there. And this is a fun purse accessory. Michele has another one that you can make. The Baby Lock Altair has IQ Designer. I have a blast making my own designs inside there. I think you would too. I'm going to send it off to George, and I think I need to go feed the director because he's asking for stuff. I'll talk to you soon. Take it away, George.
Thanks, Cathy. That was an incredible presentation. Don't forget, you can click on the link and download Cathy's lesson guide on today's presentation. But I want to take a couple moments to share with you my favorite features on the Baby Lock Altair. I believe the Altair is dollar for dollar the most advanced machine on the market. There are machines that sell for thousands of dollars more that do not offer the same features. You know, the embroidery features are incredible. The 9.5-inch by 14-inch embroidery area, you can really expand your horizon with embroidery, and there's 494 built-in designs. You also have that 10.1-inch color screen that gives you all kinds of editing capability, from color to sizing to also you can actually take designs and do automatic stippling around it. It has 30 built-in fonts and 5 jumbo monograms. Now with the fonts, you have all kinds of editing capability. You can even take and put in a name or a saying and then do an applique border and turn it into applique automatically. It also has the IQ Designer. Now this is an app that you use your smart device like a phone or an iPad, and you can send an image, a graphic image, to the machine, and it will turn it into embroidery instantly. The embroidery is amazing, but what about the sewing and quilting? This machine has 11.25 inches of space and 5 inches of height, so you can fit even the largest quilts into this machine. It also has automatic fabric sensors that will sense the thickness of the fabric, so it will set the right pressure, and with the automatic tension it gives you perfect fabric control, from heavy denim to very sheer fabric to working with elastic or even a t-shirt collar. This machine truly controls the fabric with perfection. but also it has the digital dual feed, and what that does is that is a belt-driven walking foot system that's controlled by the motor of the machine, and you can control even like here with this Minky perfectly. So you have so many amazing features with this machine. But what about an amazing deal? But wait, that's not all. For a limited time, and while we have it in stock, we are offering a special bonus with your Altair purchase. So first, we're going to give this beautiful set of 63 spools of polyester embroidery thread. The beautiful shine and quality of this thread is quite amazing. Also, I'm including the Baby Lock Ultimate Stabilizer Bundle. This has the most popular rolls of stabilizer from wash away to cut away in different colors, and this will enhance your embroidery to give you a better quality. I'm also including the Baby Lock Altair Inspirational Guide. Now, the instructions on this machine is wonderful, but what's different about the Inspirational Guide, it is written by Baby Lock educators, assuming you know nothing about the machine. So it takes you through every aspect, giving you full color. It's over 300 pages of full color description, step-by-step description. And if you complete this Inspirational Guide, you truly know everything on this machine. We're including that. Plus, we're going to include a online membership to Baby Lock's Love of Knowledge. This has hundreds of videos that give you step-by-step details on how to use the machine and also do techniques. This is invaluable, and you get a membership to this as well. You also get our famous rose gold scissors. These scissors are wonderful, both the shears and the embroidery shears. But last and not least, we put together a very exclusive design bundle by Anita Good Design. It has 17 different collections, and it comes with over 400 design files, and it's truly amazing the variety you get with this. So all this, which equals over a $1,600 value, is free with your Altair purchase for a limited time. Now, we will run out of these supplies, so this is while supplies last. So click on the link to order, or you can call us at 1-800-865-9664. You can email me at moreso@aol.com. But don't wait, this deal will surely end. But if you have any questions, again, call us at 1-800-865-9664. Bye for now.